Want to know a little fact about me? Andy's candies, superior. I keep a little jar of them at all times. They're just the best little after meal treat. Like I remember going to Olive Garden growing up and getting these at the end of a meal and like, oh, was there anything better than being in like middle school, going to Olive Garden on the weekend, getting the fettuccine Alfredo, unlimited breadsticks, and then capping off the meal with one of these? Amazed. But you know who's not going to Olive Garden? Any of these men, because they're billionaires. Today we're gonna be talking about billionaire romance recommendations. I'm very excited. Who doesn't love a billionaire? Who doesn't just love men that throw their money at their women? You know what I love even more? When the women are like, yes, please spend it on me. Because when they're like, oh no, you shouldn't. Like, I don't want you to do that. Stop. Let him buy you stuff. Okay? Please and thank you. So anyways, this video is also in collaboration today with Tori from NovelLife. She wanted to do some billionaire romance recommendations, and I was like, that sounds like a great idea. I would love to do that with you. So we both have some recs for you. I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I think Tori has around like the same amount. I love Tori, so make sure that her channel is linked down below and her video down below, so that way once you're done watching this one, you can go watch hers for even more billionaire recs. Show her all the love over there. And anyways, yeah, let's go ahead and just jump into these money makers. First off, I gotta start with Tempt Me by K.A. Tucker. So this is the first book in a 4-book series. It follows the same couple. However, all of the books are like the same size here. They're super quick to get through. Like none of the books I don't believe are like over 300 pages. They're very bingeable. And this one follows Henry and Abby. So Abby is in college and she goes to her college career fair after her boyfriend breaks up with her. And she is just ready to get away from everything that she's kind of known her whole life. She was raised in a very small town. She was dating the pastor's son, and it was just like a very small town kind of mentality, and she just kind of had her life mapped out for her, and she did everything that she was supposed to do. And then like when her life kind of takes this turn, she's like, you know what, I need a fresh start. So she signs up for a job with the Wolf Hotel in Alaska, and she gets accepted. And when she gets out there, she's originally supposed to be a part of the landscaping crew, but there's a bit of a mishap, and she ends up being the assistant to Henry Wolf, the owner of the Wolf Hotel. And oh, let me tell you, this is so fun. So hot, such an enjoyable series, so bingeable, so much drama. You get the high stakes role in Millionaire because like Henry's got money and he's not afraid to spend it. He's not afraid to spend it on Abby. He's got a plane. He loves to spoil her. And also you got the forbidden aspect of them being boss employee on top of like the other fun tropes. You really see Abby's character growth across this as well. She really starts out very naive, very innocent, and kind of seeing her like discover herself and feel okay to kind of like make her own decisions, especially like regarding herself and her body and just like really being open to new experiences. And it's like, thanks Abby for taking us on that journey with you. This series is just so much freaking fun. I just absolutely adore it. I binged it last summer. You just got to give it a go if you haven't already. Next up, I have 3 books by the same author. But here's the thing. I was like, oh, maybe I should like limit it and only include like one. But I'm like, why? They're all different stories. And I can't help it that this author writes amazing billionaire romances. So we're going to start off with the first one, Twisted Love by Anna Huang. So this is the first book in the Twisted series. And this one follows Ava and Alex. And it is a brother's best friend, grumpy sunshine, and obviously billionaire romance. So Ava is in college. She really loves photography. And her brother, Josh, has always kind of watched out for her a little bit. They have some things in their childhood that he's just like a little protective over her because of. And when Josh is going away to do some like medical work in another country, he asks Alex, his best friend, to just kind of keep an eye on his sister a little bit, just kind of like keep a watchful eye on her. Alex reluctantly agrees. He does like Ava. However, does he really like anybody? He's very grumpy, very ice cold. He's cutthroat and ruthless when it comes to business. And Ava kind of takes it on as her mission to kind of get Alex to feel some sort of emotion, make him open up a little bit. And as they start spending more time together now that Josh is away in another country, they start forming a bit of a romance. And obviously they don't want to stay away from each other. And Alex's ice heart just melts for her and her only. And it is so great. The icy rage that this man displays sometimes is just chef's kiss. Love Alex. Probably my favorite billionaire man on this list. I'm just like so obsessed with him. If he was real, it would be over for me. It would be over for me. Well, probably not if he had anything to say about it. But for me, it'd be over in my mind. So anyways, love this one. Next up, I'm just going to keep rolling with Anna Huang. We have Twisted Lies, which is the 4th book in the Twisted series. You do not need to read them in order. So if you want to read Twisted Love and Twisted Lies, you don't need to worry about reading the 2 in the middle, even though I highly recommend reading the entire series. The 2 Billionaires, though, bookend the series. And this one follows Stella and Christian. So Stella is an influencer and she has a bit of a stalker problem. So she does not really feel safe living in the apartment that she's been at. So she instead gets this new apartment at this really fancy building with this really like high-tech security that Christian owns, and that he is giving her a major discount to let her live in his building because he's kind of obsessed with her a little bit. So Stella's doing her influencer thing and she is just having trouble right now, like gaining a following or gaining like more of a following. She already has a pretty big following, but she's kind of just hit like a bit of a lull in terms of her growth on her platforms. So she's like, you know what would be really great to like boost followings, and like she sees these other people, these other influencers around that are gaining more followers, and she really wants this huge like deal with this one brand. She's like, you know how I could help secure that? Get myself a boyfriend. Well, in walks Christian, who owns this huge cyber security company. He's like really, really high up, whatever. He's got billions and billions of dollars. And he owns the apartment building that Stella is staying in and has a bit of a crush afar. But here's the thing with Christian. He is known for being kind of like a bit of a snake in the business world. And some of his business contacts are not like fully on board with him, and he's kind of like hit some roadblocks with some people being like, I don't want to work with someone that I don't think is like a family man or someone that I can't trust. So he's like, you know what, it would be really great if I had a woman on my arm at these events to kind of like appear a little bit more normal. So he and Stella decide to fake date. It will be mutually beneficial for the both of them. But of course, you know, in any fake dating situation, the fake feelings turn to real feelings, and yeah, it's their romance. It's got a little bit of a thriller-ish element to it because of Stella's stalker coming in there. And Christian does just not put up with anyone putting hands on his girl. And just amazing touch her and I'll kill you energy. Love this one. And the last billionaire that I have from Anna Huang, she writes great billionaires. What can I say? And that is King of Wrath. This is the first book in the, what is this series called? Kings of Sin series. This is the only one that is out so far, but again, it's going to be companion novels. Anyways, this one follows Dante and Vivian. So you actually, if you read Twisted Lies, you'll see a little bit of a cameo of these two. But Dante is, once again, a billionaire. And he's gotten his money. Honestly, how does he have money? I don't even know how he has money, but he has it. He ends up being in an arranged marriage with Vivian, who is the daughter of a jewelry heiress. She's like a jewelry heiress, whatever. And her parents arranged this marriage for her to marry Dante because it would really help their social standing. And turns out that her dad is blackmailing Dante into marrying her. And Dante is not a man that you want to back into a corner. So even though he's agreeing and kind of going along with this marriage, he's also finding his own way for revenge on Vivian's dad. But as he starts to get to know Vivian and like his exterior starts to get chipped away at by her and like he starts to have real feelings for her, he needs to kind of decide, like, is his revenge worth it more or his newfound wife, which is worth it to him? And yeah, in this one specifically, so Vivian also comes from money, so she like knows what it's like to have money, but then I can't remember, was it after an argument or something? Or maybe it was like just after he was being a dick one night, he like gives her his card and he's like, here, if you want to go shopping, whatever. And she actually takes him up on it and puts like what, like, I want to say 10 grand, but no, maybe is it like 100 grand or something on his card? She puts a whole lot of money on his card. And I'm like, yes, please go spend the money. This man has plenty of it. If he's offering it to you, take him up on it. And she does. So I really love that. And also she's kind of like involved in society a little bit and like doing charity work and such. So like she has her own thing outside of Dante. But obviously their marriage is like the heavy focus of this, and the fact that he's a billionaire is just the added bonus on top of everything, because they can get up to limo shenanigans, penthouses, shopping, trips, all the fun stuff that we wish we could all do, right? Okay, next up is Lessons in Sin by Pam Godwin. So this one has a couple different layers to it. It's student, teacher, priest, and billionaire and age gap all thrown into one. So this one is a part of the Midnight Dynasty series that a bunch of authors got together and wrote. You don't have to read the other ones in order to understand this. It's more just like they all wrote characters from the families and their different stories. So this one, Tinsley is a Constantine. So some of her siblings get other books from other authors, but this one is one of my favorites in this series. So Tinsley is, I don't know, she's not like really that much of a troublemaker, but she is also from like a very, very, very very wealthy family, like a billionaire family. And she is one of I think she's their only daughter maybe. And she's just been out and about, and she's been seen photographing, partying, and like with boys. And her mom is like, I cannot have you dragging our family's name through the mud like this, and like kind of just being out and being promiscuous and such. So she's like, I'm sending you to an all Catholic girls school. I think she's already 18, so I think it's for like her senior year or something. And when she arrives, she meets Father Magnus, who is also a billionaire, but he had left behind that lifestyle to become a priest. And you find out why, like what drove him to make his decisions. Oh, I kicked that again. That's like 3 videos in a row now. But I feel like one thing that you should know about Father Magnus is that, yes, he's a priest, but like that's not where his true calling lies. So when Tinsley becomes tempting to him, he's gonna break his vows. So with this, when Tinsley arrives, she's just very like rebellious to the idea of being at this Catholic girls boarding school, and how Father Magnus is like immediately trying to tell her what to do. Like she just doesn't respond well to that. And he's not afraid to punish her when she steps out of line and kind of like tame her brattiness. If you know anything about Pam Godwin's books, you just know you're in for a certain level of heat. And it's fun too because they're like both from money. It's like double billionaire status in this couple. Like good for them. Power couple. Next up, I have Hush Hush by Lucia Franco. So this one follows James and Aubrey. So Aubrey is a college student, and she's just struggling. She's working as a nanny. She's got like a couple various jobs, and she's just really working herself thin and still not really making enough to like support herself. And she has this roommate and best friend, Natalie, who she sees that she's like a cocktail waitress, and Natalie is like rolling in cash, and Natalie's parents come from money, but she refuses to accept any of their help. So she knows that like all this cash that Natalie is making is like through this job. And Natalie sees her struggling, and she's like, you know what, I think you would be perfect at my place of work. Let me put in a good word for you, and why don't you come and work with me? And Aubrey kind of thinks about it for a while, and then she decides yes. And that's when Natalie reveals that she is actually an escort, and Aubrey is now going to become an escort as well. And that's what she does for like New York's elite. And it's her romance with one of her clients. You're not supposed to get attached to clients. That's like one of the rules. But of course she meets this one client. His name is James, Daddy James. And there's a bit of an age gap, and by a bit, he's like 50 and she's like 22. And as much as Aubrey tries to hide her attraction and like keep that to herself from James, she can't help but falling in love with him. And James, he wants what he thinks is his, and that is Aubrey. And if that means signing away millions of dollars to get her to quit his job, he's more than willing to do so. So fun. So obviously James is a millionaire or a billionaire. Please don't disrespect him like that, okay? Oh my God. But I don't really want to give anything else away because I feel like, you know, there are some things, it's like a little vague, I guess, in terms of like plot, because I don't want to like say anything. You just gotta like see it, because I don't want to like reveal it and spoil it for you. But it's so much fun. Really like, you know, like a lot of the like high rolling party kind of lifestyle you get in this, which I just think is a lot of fun. And once again, James he's not afraid to throw millions of dollars at her just to make her happy. And thank you, because that made me happy. And lastly, I have Temptation by Ivy Smoke. So this one is a student-teacher romance as well. And once again, a billionaire. And you might be saying, billionaire, student-teacher, how does that work? Well, here's the thing. So James Hunter, he, once again, was a billionaire. And he kind of left behind that lifestyle to become a professor and kind of like settle down. He has some demons and some dark things in his past that he's kind of outrunning. And he just wants to settle down and kind of live like a bit more of a normal life, still while like having a penthouse and stuff. But when he starts teaching one semester, new college freshman Penny shows up to his classroom, and Penny immediately is kind of like, she sees Mr. Hunter and she's into him, and he sees her and he's into her, and it's their romance together. This one kind of similar with Wolf Hotel in the vein of like Penny is very naive, she's very innocent, and she just hasn't had a lot of life experience. So when she meets James, he really kind of like brings that out of her and like shows her that it's okay for her to explore herself and explore new things and try new things, and really kind of brings her out of her shell like that. So I really liked the journey that Penny went on in this book, on top of obviously the forbidden nature of them being professor and student. And the press has still not forgotten about James. Like, even though James has kind of stepped away from what he used to do, the press still hasn't forgotten. And when they catch wind, you know, of what him and his student might be doing, that could cause a bit of a shyster storm. And yeah, it's their romance. And this is the first in a full, I don't even know how many books. I thought it was 4, but actually I think it might be more books in the series. I've only read the first 2, and then I started and never finished the 3rd. This first book though, I really, really enjoyed, and I felt like fine ending it after the first. Like, I don't feel the need to like go back and ever finish the story, but because like I just feel good, you know. I don't always need to go back and finish series, and this probably is one that I won't ever go back and finish, but I did really enjoy it when I read it. So anyways, I think that's it for my billionaire men. I actually didn't have as many when I was going through my list as I thought I did, because it's hard to be like, okay, are they just rich or are they like billionaire filthy rich, you know? And I think I had more of like rich books than like billionaire books. Hope you found a new one that you'd like. And you know what, if you didn't find any in here that pique your fancy, then you can check out Tori's video, and she's gonna come through with more recs for you. So anyways, that is it for today's video. Like I said, I will leave Tori's channel and a video down below, so that way you can go and check that out now. And that is it for today, and I will see you when I see ya.